Each of us has a certain image of what a woman should be like, and I think most of us would agree that we get used to thinking of a woman as someone gentle, kind, supportive, inspiring, nurturing, and so on. But should a woman really be like that? You can find plenty of advice all over the internet on how to be feminine, practices to enhance your feminine energy, and how to become a high-value woman. Women are told what routines to follow, what appearance to maintain, and how to behave in order to keep their value in the society. And if a woman steps outside these expectations, she is often labeled as unfeminine. Of course, these rigid stereotypical expectations put enormous pressure on women, causing anxiety and insecurities. And that's why today I want to talk about toxic femininity and what it truly means to be a woman. But before we start, please don't forget to follow me here on YouTube so you don't miss any future uploads. And now, get comfortable, get your cozy drink, and let's already dive into today's topic. Some of the ideas we taught, the roles we're expected to play, and even routines we follow can seem so normal, so familiar that we don't even question them. But what if some of those things are actually toxic? Let's take a closer look at what toxic femininity really looks like in our everyday lives, and how all of this quietly shapes the way we see ourselves as women. As I mentioned in the beginning, society expects a woman to be gentle, patient, kind, forgiving, inspiring, and soft. And maybe this image of a woman seems lovely, harmless, and attractive at first. The truth is that these expectations are deeply problematic, because behind this mask lie intentions that are so far from innocent, intentions that quietly control women, shaping their actions and choices in ways we often don't even notice. For example, to live up to this image, a woman often has to suppress her feelings, emotions, desires, and needs, because a good woman doesn't argue, doesn't complain, doesn't demand, and doesn't get angry.
Stay silent if there's something a man does that upsets you. This does not mean you give your man the silent treatment. When you tell a man how much they actually hurt you, do you know what that does in their brain? They think of it as a triggering sort of nagging situation, like how their mom was with them. And so they don't really respect you as much if you're telling them verbally what they did to you that actually hurt you. So instead, what you do is you just stay silent.
We are told it's about embracing our true feminine nature, but let's be honest here, it's just a prettier way to teach a woman how to be obedient. Instead of being encouraged to speak up and express ourselves, women are often told to be smarter, which basically just means to be manipulative. Instead of talking openly about our needs and feelings, we have to hide it, play dumb, and smile, because you look more pretty when you smile. And what to do when we do feel angry and frustrated? Well, God forbid we say it out loud. So we just sit in silence and serve it later through some passive-aggressive comments and icy glances.
You mad at me or something?
I don't know. Did you do something to make me mad? Because then I am. But if you didn't, then I am not.
I didn't do anything.
Then I am not mad. I am mad.
And when a woman finally gets fed up with these little games and dares to step outside that image, to be direct, to express her feelings, to want something out loud, what happens? Well, suddenly she is irrational, crazy, illogical, too emotional, and too loud. When a woman stops playing the role, she becomes the problem, and not the system that never allowed her to speak clearly in the first place.
No, I'm speaking. 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 Thank you.
So basically, when a woman tries to follow the rules to be nice, quiet, obedient, and pleasant, she is often used, controlled, taken for granted, seen as boring, quiet, too soft, and lacking personality. And when she steps outside of that image, she is suddenly too selfish, too loud, inconvenient, materialistic, and so on. No matter what a woman does, she just cannot win. And all of the social expectations just cause stress, anxiety, and deep insecurities. Just a few decades ago, self-care used to mean the basics: eating well, staying active, getting enough sleep, being surrounded by loving and supportive people, and taking care of your mental health. But today, when we hear self-care, what comes to mind is morning Pilates, matcha, scented candles, journaling, affirmations, multi-step skincare routine, and of course, long showers with dozens of products, because you should smell like vanilla. And while I do agree that these rituals can sometimes help us feel better, the truth is that under the label of self-care, we're once again being fed the same old expectations: to be beautiful, feminine, light, glowing, and slim. We now spend an incredible amount of money and time on self-care rituals, because if you don't, it means you don't love yourself enough, and it means you're not feminine enough. And really, how can a woman see herself as beautiful and actually love herself if from an early age she's been taught to hate her body and believe there is something wrong with her?
Do you want to hear one of the saddest things my mom ever said to me? She was 95. She was at the end of her life, and my daughter and I were giving her a bath in her assisted living. And I said, "Ma, you're too skinny. You got to eat. You got to try to make yourself eat." And her words were, "Yeah, I'm okay, but if I could just get rid of my belly, I'd be fine." And I thought, oh my gosh, here she is at 95 at the end of her life, and she's still worried about her belly.
Besides the qualities we already discussed, being soft, obedient, pleasing, nurturing, etc., the expectations placed on a woman's appearance are also absurd. For example, the hair must be thick, long, straight, shiny, and silky, because anything shorter is considered too masculine. Clothes, for example, should be feminine, flowing, attractive, and modest, but not too attractive, never enough to be threatening or make others uncomfortable. And of course, let's not forget about the body itself, because it must be flawless, pristine, young, thin, toned, and delicate. And of course, let's not forget that women should eat like a bird and engage in feminine activities, because lifting weights and building muscle is too masculine. A woman who carries and births children, breastfeeds them, takes care of everyone in the family should look like she's done none of that. While a man who actually does none of that can just exist having anybody he wants without any pressure.
I'm sorry. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm worried about. I'm standing in a home that I bought on a planet where there are more stars in the sky than there are grains of sand on each individual beach. And I have a husband who thinks I'm the greatest thing in the world. And I have a family who would do anything for me, and hobbies that bring me joy. And I'm staring into a phone that has thousands of pictures and videos of me doing fun things and traveling to places that I love. And I have a calendar downstairs of all my upcoming events and vacations that I'm so excited for. My life is good and it's beautiful. And yet, when I evaluate, when I think, should I be happy? Do I deserve to be happy? Should I be proud of where I am right now? This is what tops the list of considerations? This?
And as if all of this pressure wasn't already overwhelming, now we have to worry about something called feminine energy. Because being feminine isn't just about your looks, your routine, and your behavior anymore. It now has to radiate from your very essence. But the question then is, what is feminine energy? If we associate it with qualities like softness, nurturing, and intuition, aren't these traits found in men as well? As far as I know, every person, whether male or female, has both soft and strong aspects, and these qualities reveal themselves depending on the situation. How can we possibly divide energy by gender or by genitals, when a person's energy is shaped by their environment, surrounding, personality, personal growth, skills, knowledge, and interests? Dividing energy into masculine and feminine is just another manipulative concept that takes away a woman's freedom of self-expression. By creating all of these ideas of femininity, society is selling us the image of this successful, beautiful, and confident woman. But in reality, what it's really doing is collectively lowering a woman's worth to just her image. And when a woman is constantly focused on her appearance, she truly starts to feel like she's not enough, and she ends up spending all her time trying to feel worthy and accepted, even by herself. And that leaves a woman with no time to stand up for her boundaries, no space to pursue her own interests, and no real chance to make her own choices, which just makes it easier for society to control her. And what's even more painful is that women who don't feel enough satisfaction with themselves very often exclude themselves from life experiences, such as opportunities, relationships, traveling, being seen, and so on. The idea of femininity we are presented with is incredibly narrow and completely unrealistic. And when a woman's entire sense of worth is built around how she looks, of course it's going to hurt when that changes. We need to remember that women come in all shapes, personalities, and paths, and none of them are more or less valid than others. And if society is trying to tell you otherwise, remember that a person's ability to understand you is limited by how much they have worked on themselves. And you do not need to simplify yourself to fit into their idea of who you should be. When we talk about the traditional role of a man, we immediately think of him as a provider, right? He works, earns money, supports the family, comes home, takes a rest, sleeps, and goes back to work. And when it comes to a woman, the typical expectation for a woman is to be a wife and a mother. But what does that really mean? First of all, it means performing 3 unpaid jobs, such as chef, nanny, and housekeeper.
I was not prepared in motherhood to constantly have to find the patience. Like, I have to find the patience all hours of the day to do everything and anything, because no one told me how taxing it is to hear someone say my God, stay up. No one tells you how taxing it is to hear someone whine or cry or say mama, 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 mama all the time. 24/7. Like, there's no way to mentally prepare for your brain to handle that. And on top of it, all you're trying to do is things for them, like you're trying to make food, or you're trying to get dishes done so that you can have dishes to make more food, or you're cleaning laundry, or you're cleaning up a mess or something. You're constantly doing something to care for the house or for the child or for the children or kids or animals or whatever.
And secondly, women carry a huge mental load because they have to remember everything: who likes what, when everyone has their commitments, what problems and needs each person has in the family, etc. On top of that, she has to pay attention to her husband while also making sure she doesn't forget about herself, because we remember the expectations placed on a woman. And let's not forget that the perfect woman in modern society also builds a career, has hobbies, and maintains friendships, all of which require her time and attention. So basically, the role of a modern woman is just simply to be a superhuman. But the thing is, evolutionary, the body and mind were not designed to carry such a load. And even if a woman tries to juggle all these things superficially, her body and mind simply won't be able to handle it, and sooner or later it will lead to burnout and stress. And let's not forget that this perfect woman is often seen as support for the man, as his rock and muse, but not as an equal. And this makes her role secondary, which just simply takes away her right to be the main character in her life. And I totally understand that there are women who absolutely love being a housewife. But when your entire life revolves around the role of a mother and a wife, you need to understand that your value gets reduced to your usefulness. So when the kids grow up, you just stop feeling needed and therefore valuable. And very often this leads to a woman simply losing her sense of purpose.
Okay, my middle-aged empty nest, almost empty nest moms, what are we doing? What are we doing? Someone needs to tell me. The most exciting thing I've done this week is go get my nails done today. Hot pink, just to zhuzh my life up a little bit. They say this is like our time now. It's our time. Our time for what? To do what?
And of course, most importantly, when a woman's entire identity is built around the role in the family, her sense of safety becomes extremely fragile too. Because in case something goes wrong, she's gonna be left with no skills, no financial stability, and no system she can truly rely on.
Don't be ridiculous.
Society sold us the idea that making money is a man's job, that being provided for makes you feminine, radiant, and soft. Plus, we scroll through all this video with trad vibes and we think to ourselves, yes, it's true, look how light and beautiful they are. But let's not forget that many of these women who post this content make lots of money, and if they have money, chances are they also have help. This romanticization of dependency has gone so far to the point that it turned into full-on consumerism towards men. Some women genuinely believe that a man owes them everything, while their only job in relationship is to be beautiful, which is just not fair because it's not easy for them either. Men are human too, and they also want attention, appreciation, thoughtful gestures, gifts, surprises, etc. Relationships should be about both giving and receiving. When both partners appreciate each other for not only one can provide, but also for their heart, that's when relationships flourish. So making money is not a man's job, it's the responsibility of any adult, because relying on someone else for your basic security is just unsafe. Not making money doesn't make you feminine, it makes you anxious, because you live in a constant state of uncertainty.
Have your own, be your own, do your own. Don't be dependent on anybody for anything. Have your own job, your own career. It doesn't have to be the career of your life, but a job so that you can pay your own way. And just don't get so attached to anybody that your whole life depends on them.
Only financial freedom can make you feel truly relaxed, because you know you have the ability to act, to choose and live no matter what happens. And I am saying this to you as the person who experienced all kinds of financial dynamics in relationships. We live in a society built on roles, and we follow those roles because deep down we all want to be seen in the best possible light. And that is exactly why society punishes women who try to be authentic, because they cannot control them, label them, or easily understand them. So if you ask me, what is a woman supposed to be? I would answer you with one of my favorite questions. What would you be like if there was nobody else in this world? What would you do? Who would you be if the only opinion that mattered was yours? Because if you truly want to be happy, you have to be that person. There is nothing more feminine than a woman in her power, and true power comes from authenticity. You need to understand that time is the only thing we really have, and wasting it, trying to fit into a limited, socially approved version of yourself is just simply foolish. Women are different. Some women are bold, others are soft. Some women are dreamers, others are doers. Some women are wild, others are calm. Some women are healers while others are leaders. Every woman is beautiful, strong, powerful, and worthy in her own authentic way. No matter what you do, society will always find a way to blame you, to tell you that you're not enough or that you're doing something wrong. And that's why you have to remember that true intelligence is about curiosity and understanding, not about judgment and control. An intelligent person sees the beauty in difference and tries to understand it, not to crush it and force it to fit into their own narrow idea of right. And that's why the answer is pretty simple. Just stay true to who you are. So don't be afraid to explore yourself. Don't be afraid to dress the way you want, to look the way you want. Don't be afraid to dream, to change, to seek new experiences, to choose the life you want. Don't be afraid to laugh out loud, to speak your truth, to take up space and express yourself in every way your heart desires. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because there is no better version of you than the one you were born to become. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Of course, I want you to understand that there is so much more to discuss, and it will take me forever to do that, but if you want to add something to my thoughts, you're so welcome to do that in comments. I would love to hear what you think. Please don't forget to like this video and follow me here on YouTube to support my channel, to support my work, and not to miss any future videos of mine. And today I just want to wish you to explore your true self, to embrace your authenticity and enjoy every step of your journey. And I will see you in the next one.